Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another interesting edition of our program looking at ways that we can move our nation forward, our beautiful nation, Cameroon. Today I want to briefly analyze a video. It's regarding what has been going on with the Vivian project. Right, I took interest in Wax Day, looking at his leadership capabilities and how he has been able to rally a group of Cameroonians who are talented and be able to make something beautiful for the nation. I want to briefly analyze what has been going on so far so that we all can have a unique perspective as to how we can make progress as a nation. I understand the challenges that are going on in our nation. I understand the mixed feelings that we all have. I understand how we feel about our government, how we feel about our country. But the question is, what is the way forward? And how can we unanimously make progress, right? Getting everyone involved in such a way that we can be able to utilize the best of us and put an image out there that reflects our desires and aspiration as the people of Cameroon. I would like to play a video right here. We're going to listen to that video together, right? And then from there, we are going to make progress. So I would like for you to listen to this video, and then we are going to break things down from an analytical perspective, not just assumptions, right? Because that is what really gets us into trouble, or make us dislike one another, or make us to be malicious towards one another, because we do not really understand what is going on. So let's take a listen to this video.
De la musique des Prince Aimé sur le digital. Ça s'élève, ça peut atteindre, si on va rechercher, c'est près de 40 millions. TikTok a versé, Facebook, YouTube, sans compter les plateformes de téléchargement où la chanson a été vendue. Parce que ce que vous ne savez pas, Yemi Alade a un gros nom. Quand tu fais un featuring avec elle, c'est tous ces fans du Nigeria qui vont vouloir chercher à écouter. Et c'est comme ça que ça se passe au Nigeria. Les gars stream, les gars font beaucoup de streaming. C'est beaucoup d'argent que le nom Prince Aimé a rapporté. Mais si vous voyez Prince Aimé sortir Diamondo Vision, sans passer par le gros mot dont il a l'habitude d'utiliser, dit qu'on lui a dit que la voiture, on a dit sur internet que la voiture coûtait 8 millions. Et il a vu plutôt une voiture de 5 millions. Ça allait m'étonner. La RAV4 2008, c'est pas 8 millions. Ça ne peut pas coûter 8 millions. C'est dans les 4 millions 5. C'est dans les 4 millions 5 en seconde main. Ou alors quand on a refait la peinture comme ce que j'ai vu là. C'est dans les 4 millions 5. Maintenant, ce que je veux dire, Waxday, tu sais que nous, on te connaît. Quand il dit nous, on te connaît, tu comprends. Nous, on te connaît grand. Nous, on te connaît, tonton. Mais comme tu es notre tonton, il y a des choses qu'on ne peut pas dire. Mais grand, lave ton nom. Parce que si tu ne laves pas ton nom, les Camerounais qui t'ont élevé, qui t'ont pris pour le grand boss, le nouveau boss de la musique camerounaise là, hein, je les connais, tu vas plus dormir, ils vont te persécuter, je les connais. Mesdames, messieurs, ce qui se passe est très grave. Parce que quand Prince me dit, j'avais confié, je travaillais. Ça veut dire qu'ils ne sont plus ensemble. Rupture de contrat en moins de 4 mois. Rupture de contrat de production et de management en moins de 4 mois. Maintenant, tout l'argent qu'on a récolté pendant les 4 mois là, c'est passé où? C'est pas parce que Prince Aimé est aveugle. Et si vous m'énervez, je vais récupérer Prince Aimé. Je vais vous montrer comment on travaille l'argent avec une chanson comme ce que Prince Aimé a fait là. Voilà ce que je vous déclare. Ne venez pas après, voilà ce que je vous annonce. Si vous m'énervez, moi je vais récupérer Prince Aimé, vous montrer comment on tourne avec un artiste comme Prince Aimé là. C'est impossible. Il n'a pas de date. Il n'a pas de date. Il n'est même pas là qui aussi. Même la petite Côte d'Ivoire, là, avec l'argent que vous avez déjà récolté derrière lui, vous devez au moins payer son billet d'avion qu'il aille voir de Bordeaux en Côte d'Ivoire. C'est combien le billet d'avion? 200 000 à l'instant, aller-retour. L'appartement en Côte d'Ivoire, 50 000. Vous prenez même une semaine, ça fait combien? C'est moins d'1 million. Grand, Wax, lave ton nom, grand. Pardon seulement, lave ton nom. Depuis, je ne voulais plus parler de l'affaire-ci. Parce que je connais le Camerounais. Même où c'est Lili Anoma que tu mets devant là, ils vont l'écraser. Tu vas fuir le game là. Même ta page là, tu vas fermer. En tout cas, mesdames, messieurs, téléchargez l'application OneIsBet. Utilisez mon code promo.
Okay, you've heard that video. For those who do not understand French, let me briefly summarize what he said in that video. And then we are going to dive into this detailed analysis and find out truth. Because this is the only thing that will set us free. Are you tracking? What he is saying is Wax Dey made a lot of money out of the Vivian project, right? And did not help Prince Aimé. And he estimated that Wax Dey made approximately 40 million francs out of that project. Hypothetically. Are you tracking? Another key thing that came up in the entire saga is that Wax Dey promised Prince Aimé that he would buy him a vehicle worth 8 million francs. Ended up buying him a vehicle that is worth 5 million. Like I said, what dispels myth is light. He's an amazing young man, and I know that he wants the best for Prince Aimé. Every Cameroonian wants the best for Prince Aimé. And Wax Dey wants the best for Prince Aimé as well. Okay? So let's dive into a deep analysis and look at the numbers, because today it is very easy for you to look at the numbers and make sense, right? And that is why we study. And the reason why I'm making this video is for those of us that have studied. When we see situations like this going on in the country, we put our heads together and pour light on the situation. Even a young man like this can be enlightened. Why? So that they can make informed decisions that will move the entire nation forward. Are you tracking? Now let's analyze this video briefly. Okay, so I put some numbers together because it's very easy to go online on YouTube. You see the number of views that video has. You can go on TikTok. You can see the number of views that video has. You can go on Spotify. You can see the number of views that video has. Put them all together, right? Look at how much it actually cost, right? How much is YouTube paying? How much is Facebook paying? How much is Spotify paying, right? And then you can be able to put the numbers together and say, okay, how much could be generated hypothetically from this project? That is how we make sense of data and dispel ignorance. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because this young man has good intentions. And I know many Cameroonians are amazing people and have good intentions. But with wrong assumption, you can be planning the downfall of someone when you don't have the facts. And at the end of the day, you might destroy the life of someone not understanding the facts. I know it is not easy to pull down Wax Dey. Most people can't, right? Yes, he's a tough shot, right? And I know a couple of strings that he can pull to put everything together. But the reason why I'm making this video is to educate us. And if you are a leader, you want to become a leader, it is important that you pay attention to this video so we can make progress as a nation. So look, take a look at it. So on YouTube, this video have approximately 7 million views. Write that down. On Facebook, this video has, let's say, 15 million views. Are you tracking? On TikTok, this video has 2.5 million views. On Spotify, this song, right, has approximately 1 million streams. Now, how do you do the math to understand how much might have been generated from this project? Before we get to the 8 million francs car, how much hypothetically could have been generated out of this project? You realize that YouTube, there is a cost per monetization fee. That is, there is a certain amount that YouTube pays per view. And music has the lowest cost per monetization. Music video. This is something maybe you're hearing for the first time. Music videos has the lowest cost per monetization on every platform. So on YouTube, the cost per monetization ranges from 50 cents to $1. 50 cents to $1 per view. In Cameroon, because predominantly those who watch this video are from Cameroon. So it varies, right? In America, it is different, but in Cameroon, this is how much it actually costs. On Facebook, the cost per monetization is 0.2 cents. Are you tracking? 0.2 cents. That is on Facebook. On TikTok, it is also 0.02 cents per monetization. That is the cost per monetization. Are you tracking? And then if you go on TikTok, if you go on Spotify, it even gets lower. Now I put the numbers together. So the net earnings, if we have to look at the 7 million views on YouTube, the cost per monetization, everything will come down to approximately $962 to $1,925. That is how much that video could hypothetically generate on YouTube. $1,925. Are you tracking? On Facebook, hypothetically, this video could generate approximately $1,350 to $6,000. So that is on the low end and on the high end. If you go on TikTok, this video could generate approximately $50 to $100 if we had 2.5 million streams. Because I have a video on TikTok that has more than 1 million views, and I know how much I received out of those views, even though I live in the United States of America. Are you tracking? Now, if you go to Spotify, you realize that the max that this video could generate on Spotify is $1,500 based on the current streams that we have right now on every platform or the most popular platforms. Everything will come together. On the low end, we are looking at approximately $2,862. That is on the low end. And how much is that in francs CFA? That is approximately 1.7 million francs. On the high end, this video could generate $9,525. That is on the high end. And that is approximately 5.8 million francs. Are you tracking? And then this is what we do with these numbers. Because it is not every stream that you get paid for on these platforms. Are you tracking? It is not every stream that you get paid for. So we are going to look at the average based on these numbers that I have presented to you. So how do you calculate the average? You look at how much the low end costs and then you look at how much the high-end cost, you put them together, divide them by 2, and then you are going to have the average total. So the average total is approximately 3.8 million francs. That is the average total that this video has generated so far in Nigeria and in Cameroon. So we are looking at 3.8 million. Now, Wax Dey promised Prince Aimé a vehicle, say 8 million francs. Mind you, before getting on this project, Wax Dey had tackled something so huge like what happened with Shakira with the Zangaliwa case. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. Right? Shakira paid that team some money. Now, this is what you should understand. This, so far, looking at what Wax Dey has been able to do for the nation, should tell everyone within Cameroon that he has love for this country. He wants to make this country better. He wants Cameroon to be respected. That is, wherever you find yourself around the world, Cameroon is that one nation that you don't mess with. Now, Prince Aimé, the song he produced, Viviane, he has been away from the camera for more than maybe 19 years now. And then he's looking at this, a blind man. And then he's like, okay, we're going to bring this guy to the spotlight. We can do some remix and create exposure for him. What you don't realize about this project, which is what grieves my heart, and again, with all humility, and I don't want anyone to have any tough feelings about this. Our nation has been divided for years now. It has been tough to have Anglophones and Francophones come together and do something as one. This project is that one project for the past 9 years that we have seen Cameroonians come together to do something as a nation. You cannot put a price tag on that. You cannot put a monetary value on that. UN has tried to put Anglophones and Francophones together to do something, to even speak. Canada and many other nations have attempted and failed. This project brought Anglophones and Francophones together on a common goal to protect what is ours. We cannot pay Wax Dey for that. I want to establish that premise, my dear people. This is what that project has generated so far. He promised Prince Aimé a vehicle worth 8 million francs. And what we are hearing is the vehicle he received is worth 5 million. First, I want to let you know, Wax Dey is a businessman. If you listen to him talk carefully, he's a businessman. He can walk into the room. That vehicle, maybe they put it out there for, say, maybe 10 million. And then he's like, okay, you are a Cameroonian. We are actually purchasing a vehicle for Prince Aimé. What is the least price that you can give us for this vehicle? And through his negotiation skills, he can walk out of that dealership with a 5 million francs deal. But the actual value of that vehicle is 8 million. Are you tracking? Most of you know this. There are times you've gone into a shop or you go out there to purchase something that you want and you're able to negotiate and you leave with a better deal. Are you going to walk out of that dealership? Or are you going to walk out of that shop saying that this is the actual price? And if Wax Dey can talk to a Cameroonian selling a vehicle and say, hey, this is for Prince Aimé, we have put our heads together to pull off this project. I want you to be able to give us a better deal for this for this car. And if he walks out with a better deal, my question to you, are you going to say that vehicle is worth 5 million? or 8 million. That is how business people look at life. Are you tracking? Now, let's say the vehicle is 5 million. The average total that we see so far online, because it's easy for you to calculate these things, right? The average total is 3.8 million, which indicates that if that vehicle is worth 5 million, then the remaining balance came out of Wax Dey's bank account. From what I have read from my logs, it indicates that everything about this project, Prince Aimé and his team did not contribute a dime. Wax Dey, through his leadership and negotiation skill, was able to pull a team together, and everyone partnering or wanting to feature in the remix contributed. And that is leadership, that is business, that is strategy, that is getting everyone in the nation involved in a project that can unite our country. If you are really blogging about Wax Dey, you're talking about the difference between 8 and 5 million. Doesn't really add up. That kind of the reasoning, my friends, with all love and sincerity, doesn't really add up. Let's look at the big picture. The spotlight Prince Aimé has right now, his team can use that to revive his career in the next 5 or 10 years if they know what they are doing. You cannot put monetary value on exposure. Please think. You can't. This is an opportunity for Prince Aimé to shine again. And this project was just an introduction to that. Are you tracking? His team can use this fame that he has right now and do more, compared to the guy from Ivory Coast giving him some money. No, Prince Aimé can be seen as a symbol of unity, a symbol of hope for this nation right now. If his team knows exactly what they are doing, they can pull this off. And if they work closely with Wax Dey, they can pull this off. This is one thing that I've noticed, my friends. When you're working with a leader and they have a good heart, and you want something to happen instantly, you might mess up a lot of things. The leader has a plan. Walk with that plan to the end. Have a good attitude around that leader. I know we don't have any bad intentions as Cameroonians. I know we are amazing people. Are you tracking? But one thing that I want to let us understand is that we need to be patient and work with our leaders. One thing that I want you to draw your attention to, and then we'll wrap up this video so that I can bring up some more examples to help us gain clarity. We live in a nation governed by laws. I see people talk, right? You have your talk show, you want to promote your skill, your talent, and all that. We have laws. Cameroon is a nation governed by laws. This is an article that I read of a journalist that the charges made against him was dropped, but he has been in court almost every week for the past 3 months. If you don't have the details of a transaction, make an attempt to call Wax Dey and talk with him before you make a video, because you can be held liable and you will pay. In Cameroon, according to your article 305, it clearly states the consequence of slander. This is how we build a private sector that works, because my goal at the end of the day is that we build an organized private sector that works in collaboration with the government so that we can be able to create that conducive environment for trade, for business, so that we can all flourish and grow together. Assumptions, my friend, has destroyed a lot of lives. There are many people that are dead and gone right now because of what happened in the Anglophone zone. And there are instances where it has just been predicated on assumptions. Are you tracking? According to your penal code. Read. That's why it's good that you know the laws that you are being governed under. Cameroon is a nation governed by laws. Every sovereign state around the world is governed by laws. When you slander anyone, especially someone like Wax Day, these are the consequences. You can spend any day from, say, 6 to 6 months in prison for slander in Cameroon. Did you know that? No. If people don't press charges, it doesn't mean that you can't be held liable for talking about someone without having the facts. That is why if you look at the situation with TB Joshua, what happened? BBC had to take a flight to Nigeria to actually interview people. You have to sit down with the individual you're about to talk about and question them, ask questions, and let it be visible for the whole world. You have to meet Wax Day. If you really are interested in the case, you need to go meet him, sit down with him, ask him those questions, and hear his side of the story before you go out there making a publication. There is freedom of speech, but you are also responsible for what you say. You're free to say whatever you want to say, but you're also responsible. Are you tracking? And that is the same even here in America. That is why you hear when Kanye West went out there and said what he said about the Jewish people, he went from a billionaire into a millionaire in a day. He lost everything, even right here in the United States of America. I'm saying this so that we don't make these mistakes. And you go to prison from anywhere from 6 days to 6 months, and you will pay up to 2 million francs for slander. That is the law. Every sovereign nation is governed by laws. Right here in the United States of America, it is governed by laws. You think people are free to say anything they say here? No. When the Uncensored show talked about Beyonce and her husband, when it has to do with the Puff Daddy's case, remember what happened? Beyonce's lawyers sent a letter to the Uncensored company. And what happened? They took down the video and offered a public apology. You are free to say what you want to say, but there are also consequences, and you are responsible for what you say. Are you tracking? So I just thought I'd bring some clarity to that. I don't blame the young man, right? I don't blame Prince Aimé for this, but I want us to see the big picture, right? As to what this means for us. To sabotage this project is not good for us, but rather I encourage this project. If you have some money, you want to help Prince Aimé, go ahead and do that. You don't have to prove anything to Wax Day in order to help Prince Aimé. He has a contract with Prince Aimé, and they are going through that. No one, and we have to learn how to work with contracts. I know this is something that is not really, like, we are not familiar with, but every sovereign nation, every developed nation, they work with contracts and they honor those contracts. But I want you to see the big picture of everything. It's not about the contracts, not about laws. It's about the big picture for our nation. It's about us moving forward. It's about Prince Aimé's career. Right now he's visible. How can we use that to take him forward? If you have an idea, go ahead and help if you can. If you want to talk about Wax Day, make sure you've got him on phone and talk with him and you have your facts straight. But based on what I see so far, this is just so much I can give you. I haven't talked to Wax Day about this, and just looking at the numbers, I can be able to make sense of it. And I'm calling on everyone around the world, Cameroonians everywhere. This is the time for you guys, if you've studied and you see maybe ills like this going on in the community, step up and help our people. Step up and help. Music video is the lowest when it comes to monetization online. Subjects like finance, which is my specialty, and education, they pay more on YouTube and on every streaming platform. entertainment doesn't really pay much online. That is one thing you probably don't know about. Go look at the monetization policies and how much is actually being given. Right? Prince Aimé can leverage brand deals if his team knows what they are doing and they follow the contract that they have with Wax Day, and they can really build a solid career for him. Honestly, no amount of money the guy from Ivory Coast would have given Prince Aimé would have been compared to what Wax Day just did for Prince Aimé. Now, I want you guys to always look at leaders and value leaders. If you look at this picture on your screen, if I ask you the question, who do you want to work with? Who do you want to teach you how to become relevant online and be able to create something for yourself? You probably mention the guy on my right, right? You know Kabilam, right? You actually know him. And Kabilam is worth approximately $20 million. That is how much he is worth. That is his net worth. The net worth of Kabilam is approximately $20 million. You don't know the guy on your left. That is the owner of TikTok. We live in a community where we are easily carried by the ones that we see on the light. That I'm saying this for a reason, because you might look at what Wax Day is doing behind the scenes and you might underestimate that because he's not holding the microphone. When people sign a record deal, they make anywhere from 5 to 15%. That is what you probably don't know about. They make anywhere from 5 to 15% based on the contract. Those who are managing the entire process, they carry the burden of that project. So you probably don't know about Zhang Yiming, but Zhang Yiming is the guy who owns TikTok, and he's worth approximately 45 billion US dollars. He's the richest guy in China right now. Are you tracking? We need to learn to value those who we don't see. But they are leading, they are managing, they are directing, and they are making sure that those that you see have everything that they need to be visible, and yet they are not seen. It's just like the world we live in today. We don't see God, but those we see, we can call them God. But the influence that causes the one that you see is based on the one that you do not see. And I want us to start valuing leadership. I mean, in our communities today. Another individual that I want to bring up is Samuel Eto'o. Have you ever asked yourself the question, why is it that people will condemn the president, Paul Biya, people will condemn those in the government? Have you ever heard Samuel Eto'o condemns the president? No. You've never heard that. Do you know why? Because he understands leadership. Because what I'm beginning to understand is we can make assumptions like this. Imagine how much is being generated out of the resources we have in our country. And say, oh, this is how much the government is getting. And the government is not utilizing these resources adequately. And that is why we are struggling. But you don't know what they are going through until you ask, until you get close, until you lead, and then you will understand what they are going through. I want us to be able to look at things from each other's perspective, because us in the private sector have always looked at things from our perspective and never from the government's perspective. You will never hear Samuel Eto'o disrespect the president of our nation. Samuel Eto'o is who he is today because of these individuals that you see on your screen. Jose Moreno, Frank Rijkaard, Louis van Gaal. These are individuals that contributed massively to make Eto'o who he is today. And he always gives credit to these people. There are some people in our lives that we should not disrespect. There are some people in my life that regardless of what they do or say about me, I will never disrespect them. I will never do that because of what they did for me at that particular stage in my life. What Wax Day has done for our nation this far. This is one of those individuals that us as Cameroonians, both Francophones and Anglophones, should not disrespect him. This is a line that we should not cross. Look at what he did with the Shakira case. You think it was all about money? You think really it was all about money? We have to go past money, my friends. If we will build a community that someday we can be able to get to where America is today, we have to go past money and see the big picture. Are you tracking? Somewhere Etofis always gives credit to these people. Do you think they've never disagreed before? Do you think they've always been in good terms while he was working with them? I don't think so. They've disagreed at some point. Right? They've had different opinions on different subjects. But to come out publicly and disrespect them, no. This is what I want us to see, friends. Let's cultivate the habit of start looking at our country different. Start looking at our leaders different. Start looking at the president, the government different, and see what will happen to us. Start looking at things from their perspective, that there's a lot that they go through. From what I'm seeing, just the numbers online, I think Wax Day has put more money in this project that he has not recovered, just with the numbers that I'm seeing. And that is what the public might not know, because he doesn't have to disclose the detail of that transaction. But there's a lot that he has probably put in that he has not even recovered half right now. And all these speculations online, bloggers, please, this one of those people we should not disrespect. If there's anything, we should be able to appreciate someone like Wax Day. Because when we disrespect him, guess what happens? You are ruining the opportunity for someone that might be in the same predicament tomorrow. And we are looking at it and say, oh, we want to help. But we think of all of this that has just happened. And some people will just hold back. And now the story will be, we have big brothers, we have big sisters. None of them want to help. Why? Because they are thinking of the liability. Like, if I help and something goes wrong, this is what the public will say. These are human beings. They have families. What you say can affect their mental health. If you are a leader, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. And if you aspire to be a leader someday, you are going to face what you are putting out right now towards Wax Day. We have to learn to value leadership. Someone might be holding your hands and you start walking and you think you can do things all by yourself. You don't need them. You can do it better than them. Just to realize that if they let you go, you will suffer. You will struggle. I've seen this. Right? We've had amazing people come through Nation Builders University. One of the beautiful things that I've realized, some people came in here and I've seen how their lives have transformed within a very short time. Just taking to instructions, just listening to having a mentor. You see, Etofis did not get here by himself. He had mentors. He had leaders in his life. He had coaches. He had managers. How are you going to succeed in life without one? You think if Etofis popped up and said, oh, I'm going to figure out everything by myself, I don't need nobody. It's not about money. You can have all the money, but you need someone with a skill. You need someone that is a leader to help and guide you. And never ever take your leaders for granted, even while they are holding your hands. Some people say, oh, we want a new president. My question to you is, look at our nation right now, my friends. Look at the continent of Africa. the nations that have been changing presidents every 4 years or every 8 years, they have been changing presidents. What is really different that you can figure out and say, oh, their nation is better because they have been changing presidents, right? It is rare to see that. Even you look at Nigeria. Are you tracking? So my thing is, let's be patient with ourselves. But if there's anything that we need collaboration, especially in the private sector. If those who want to help you in the private sector are bad and the government too is bad, then there is no hope for us. If we will condemn someone like Waxday, condemn the president, then where are we going? Really, just think about it. Where are we really going? Everyone is bad except you. Everyone else is evil except you. Where are we going to go with this kind of attitude? Where are we going to with this kind of attitude? Are you tracking? So with all love, and this is tough love, I know. I know you might take this a certain way, but I know it's hard to digest this all in. I know, I get it. But I just want you to relax and think about what I just said. And if you have been blogging about Waxday negatively, what can you do different? If you want the country to move forward, what can you do different on your part? I want you to just reflect on that. And again, I come back to this picture for a reason. This is the guy that you know on every TikTok platform. But this is the guy that you don't see. We tend to value more, right, the people we see than the people that we do not see. Let's value the people that we don't see, but they are making tremendous input to move your career forward, to move the nation forward, and trust the process. They've studied something that you probably don't know. They know somebody that you do not